Delegates walk out on Netanyahu's speech at UN General Assembly. Live updates, video, ad feedback. Do you accept any responsibility? CNN presses Hamas official on suffering in Gaza. 053. Source CNN. https://back. Feedback. In an address to the UN General Assembly, Netanyahu will meet Monday with U.S. President Donald Trump, who has vowed to block any attempt by Israel to annex the West Bank. This is a message that comes on the heels of a U.S. proposed peace plan, which recently discussed with Arab leaders. A senior Hamas official has defended SBF what it meant by discussing peace plans with Arab leaders in Egypt, including those proposed peace plans that Israel wants to annex. A great peace plan discussed with Arab leaders with the Arab countries. This brings great pressure to backside. Netanyahu will meet Monday with U.S. President Donald Trump, who has vowed to block any attempt by Israel to annex the West Bank. A message that comes on the heels of a U.S. proposed peace plan, recently discussed with Arab leaders in Egypt. A senior Hamas official has defended SBF what it meant by discussing peace plans with Arab leaders in Egypt. This brings great pressure to backside, including those proposed peace plans that Israel wants to annex. A message that comes on the heels of a U.S. Much of the world no longer remembers October 7th, but we remember. Netanyahu said, pointing to the button and asking people to use the QR code that led to a website about the Hamas attacks. A map. He brought out a prop from his speech at the UN last year, a map displaying what he called the curse of Iran's terror axis, with Iran, Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon highlighted in red. A pop quiz. He brought out a placard. Let's do a pop quiz. And raise your hand if you know the answer, Netanyahu said. Here's the first question. Who shouts death to America? Is it A, Iran, B, Hamas, C, Hezbollah, D, the Houthis, or E, all of the above? After a beat, Netanyahu continued. All of the above. Correct. All of the above. Netanyahu is not the only leader to disrupt the monotony of UN meetings with visual aids. This year, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian showed delegates a photo collage of children killed in Gaza during his speech. Past instances have been far more elaborate. Another Israeli official used a miniature paper shredder, https://protection.outlook.com. URL equals https://www.youtube.com/watch. Data is h27hs://fehinv.gmk. email.https://fehin:/w. ILDUI joy FQ %3 Stata is HSYNNNPK reserved for HW-WR. Going back even further, former U.S. Secretary of State Colin Powell infamously brandished a replica vial of anthrax. https://nam11.safelinks.protection.outlook.com. URL equals https://3a%2w.cnn.com %2w.cnn.com %.kon%. Data 0577 aditi.sangle@cnn.com %CB68512A174081422 0422 5824 823 04 04817 842 715 CHIMPFUNTOPTIBINDNK by email. Addressing the ongoing war in Gaza, Netanyahu said global support for Israel in the aftermath of the October 7th attack quickly evaporated when Israel did what any self-respecting nation would do in the wake of such a savage attack. We fought back. He added, "There's a familiar saying, when the going gets tough, the tough get going." Well, for many countries here, when the going got tough, you caved. And here's the shameful result of that collapse. Loudspeakers on the Israel-Gaza border play out Netanyahu's speech to the UN General Assembly. 059. Source, CNN. Loudspeakers on the Israel-Gaza border play out Netanyahu's speech to the UN General Assembly. 059. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said in his UN General Assembly speech that he surrounded Gaza with massive loudspeakers connected to this microphone in the hope that our dear hostages will hear my message. The Israeli Prime Minister's office told CNN in a statement that it instructed civilian bodies, in coordination with the IDF, Israel Defense Forces, to place loudspeakers on trucks on the Israeli side of the Gaza border only, with the aim of broadcasting Netanyahu's historic speech. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks to special efforts by Israeli intelligence, my words are now also being carried. They're streamed live to the cell phones of Gazans, he added. CNN has seen no evidence of the streaming of Netanyahu's speech to phones in Gaza. So, to the remaining Hamas leaders and to the jailers of our hostages, I now say, lay down your arms. Let my people go. Free the hostages, all of them, the whole 48. Free the hostages, Netanyahu said. Now, if you do, you will live. If you don't, Israel will hunt you down. As Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was set to start speaking in front of the UN General Assembly, dozens of delegates streamed out of the room. Watch the moment. Video ad feedback. Dozens walk out of UN as Netanyahu speaks. Friday. Source, CNN. https www.cnn.com. Dozens walk out of UN. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed to finish the job of eliminating Hamas in Gaza as he gave his annual speech at the United Nations General Assembly on Friday. Much of the world no longer remembers October 7th. But we remember. Israel remembers October 7th. On that day, he added, referring to a QR code on his jacket that links to the October 7th atrocities website. He added, on October 7th, Hamas carried out the worst attack on Jews since the Holocaust. They slaughtered 1,200 innocent people, including over 40 Americans and foreign nationals from dozens of countries represented here. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu started his speech at the United Nations General Assembly by touting Israel's operations against Iran and its proxies in the Middle East. Over the past year, we've hammered the Houthis, including yesterday. We crushed the bulk of the Hamas terror machine. We crippled Hezbollah, taking out most of its leaders and much of its weapons arsenal, Netanyahu said. Although he was speaking to a sparsely attended General Assembly, after many delegates walked out ahead of his speech, Netanyahu received loud applause from the Israeli delegation. As he mentioned, the Israeli operation blew up hundreds of pagers. https://safelinks.protection.outlook.com. URL https://%3a%2f edition.cnn.com 224-2177-27 Middle East 2 Israel pager attack Hezbollah Lebanon Invis Intel Data 05-7C 02-7C Sana Norhawk at CNN.com 7C 07619 A1147 593 AD 9825 874 BC 72 ECD 638 448 9477 NT NTF 7C8L 7C proper 2-3. And most importantly, and above anything else that I could say to you that we did in this past year, in this past decade, we devastated Iran's atomic weapons and ballistic missiles programs, he added. Scores of delegates just walked out of the United Nations General Assembly in New York as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu began his speech. The Israeli Prime Minister is addressing UN member nations now. As international outcry mounts over Israel's assault in Gaza following the Hamas-led October 7th attacks, the families of Israeli hostages have spoken out against the Israeli government's plans to broadcast Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's UN General Assembly speech to Gaza residents today, using loudspeakers along the Strip. Anat Angrest, the mother of Matan Angrest, said in a post on social media, the private export /status /1974892 /ANATAS and X 19748929 equals 4124. Any sentence other than I came to the U.S. to sign a deal that brings you all home amounts to psychological abuse for them. Lishay Lavi, the wife of Omri Moran, wrote on X, https://1974885209788970. Instead of speaking to Gazans, I would like to speak to those who are desperate for a voice of hope, the hostages and the soldiers. The Israeli Prime Minister's office told CNN in a statement that it instructed civilian bodies, in coordination with the IDF, Israel Defense Forces, to place loudspeakers on trucks on the Israeli side of the Gaza border only, with the aim of broadcasting Netanyahu's historic speech as part of a public diplomacy effort. The Prime Minister explicitly ordered that this activity must not endanger IDF soldiers, the statement added. Maad al-Shagnobi was waiting to collect flour, like so many children in northern Gaza, when Israeli shrapnel tore through his face in February 2024, inflicting a blast injury on his jaw and lower mouth. Someone had dragged me and took me to safety, the 15-year-old told CNN. Palestinian doctors whisked him away before sewing up his wounds in a kitchen because there were not enough operating rooms at Al-Ali Baptist Hospital in Gaza City. In a scene of improvisation replicated across the Strip, Maad then trekked alone through raised neighborhoods and military checkpoints before reuniting with his mother in the southern city of Khan Yunis. In July, he became the third child from Gaza to enter the United Kingdom in a private medical evacuation facilitated by the NGO Project Pure Hope, with support from the non-profit Gaza Kinder Relief. Video ad feedback. From the morgue to the operating room, Majd's fight to smile again. 3:23. Source, CNN. From the morgue to the operating room, Majd's fight to smile again. 3:23. 5 months prior, Majd had left the enclave through Egypt with his mother, Islam Felfel, his younger brother, Nader, 10, and his sister, Rahaf, 7, during a ceasefire. On Tuesday, Majd underwent facial reconstruction surgery in London. Days after the British government announced a scheme to facilitate the safe arrival of ill children from Gaza, but relief and medical workers say is not enough, warning that Majd's ordeal offers a rare insight into the horrors of Israel's war. But relief and medical workers say it's not enough, warning that Majd's ordeal offers a rare insight into the horrors of Israel's war. www.unicef.org/press releases/unimaginable horrors. More 5,000 children reportedly killed or injured, Gaza Strip. Read more about Majd and the plight of children in Gaza. https://www.cnn.com/26 Middle East Gaza War Medical Evacuations. CNN's Jeremy Diamond asked Hamas's Ghazi Hamad about the placement of hostages still in Gaza and why the Red Cross has not been able to access them. Watch below and read more on the interview here. https://www.cnn.com/25 Middle East Hamas official Ot 7 Golden Moment Intel.